Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Reverend Candace Shibata. I'm here at the Buddhist Church of Stockton. And my pronouns are she, her, hers. Thank you so much for joining us. And as it was mentioned, we are streaming to our YouTube page. So hello, everybody in the YouTube world as well. This is a very special service. For our Buddhist Women's Association in Stockton, and our Dharma friends who might be joining us as well from all over, including the two other temples that I'm supervising. A day in which we really think about Donna, or selfless giving, and this impact of selfless giving, not only in our own lives, but of course in the lives of others as well, seen and unseen. And so we're so pleased to have a guest speaker today, Mrs. Terry Omori. I'll talk a little bit more about Terry, but we're so thankful that Mrs. Darlene Bagshaw snatched her up and extended a warm invitation to have Terry join us today, as she is our new president of the Buddhist Churches of America. And so we'll talk a little bit more about Terry before we introduce her, before her message today. Okay, so thank you all for joining me in this very special service. It's so wonderful to see so many participants on our Zoom. So I'd like to share my screen at this time so that we can fully participate together. And as always, as I always mention, I do miss seeing everybody, and I'm sure all of you miss being here at the temple as well. But the way in which we can really participate, even though we're not together, is by all of the different components of the service. So I welcome you to participate in a way in which you can at your home. Okay. So we'll continue along with the ringing of the kancho. This is the tolling of the bell. And as I was mentioning in my previous service earlier this morning, the kancho is a signal for us to really be mindful of the present moment. So it kind of wakes us up a little bit, quiets our minds and quiets our bodies so that we can be together as one in this present moment. Because as we know, this moment, although we might gather again next year for our next Donna Day service, it will never be recreated. So please sit with me during the kancho, or the tolling of the bell. Okay, so let's continue on with the opening meditation prepared by Mrs. Darlene Bagshaw. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Thank you, Darlene. It was wonderful to see all of the women of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, not just locally, but of course, women who were very instrumental in propagating Jodo Shinshu Buddhism and contributing to their efforts in the community, in their communities, and establishing our own BWAs as well. So thank you so much. Okay, let me share my screen once again so that we can continue with the service. Let's chant Sambujo together. And again, this is called Three Respectful Callings. And I included this today as it is a wonderful gathering of us BWA participants, and especially to have our guest speaker. And so Three Respectful Callings calls upon Amida Buddha, the historical Shakyamuni Buddha, and the Buddhas of the 10 directions to be present today. And we welcome them joyfully when we say the words Sangye Raku. And this will be followed by the dedication, Hyobyakumon, of this particular service. So please chant along with me at home for Sambujo. Pujo Mida Nyorai Niudo Jo Today, on this occasion, the members and friends in the Dharma of the Buddhist Church of Stockton have respectfully gathered before the altar of Amida Buddha to conduct this Buddhist Women's Association Buddhist Women's Association Donna service. With our hearts and minds bent in deep gratitude, we express our joy and simple thankfulness to Shinran Shonin, our innumerable Nembutsu teachers, and to all beings with which we are connected. Please join me in Gassho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namandavats, 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 namandavats. So thank you for chanting along with me at home for Sampujo. We'll continue the chanting of Sambutsuge, praises of the Buddha. So please take a moment to chant along with me at home so we can be together as one this afternoon. 고갱기김 이지무곡 묘세야묘 무요토샴 니치가츠마니 슈코웬요 가이시츠원팸 윤약주목 뇨라요겐 조세무린 쇼가쿠다yon 고르지보 가이몬쇼진 산마이지에 이토쿠무료 슈쇼케우 진타이젠엔 쇼부츠호카이 구진진노 구고가이타이 무명요쿠누 세소뇨무 니노시시 진토쿠무료 크큰고다이 지혜지묘 고묘위소 신도다이센 강가사붓 사이쇼호 가도쇼진 미프게닷 푸세조위 가이닌쇼진 뇨세산마이 치에이조 고세독붓 부교시간 이사이쿠쿠 이사다이안 계시우붓 약세노쿠만 무료다이쇼 슈뇨고자 구요미사이 시토쇼붓 분뇨구도 켄쇼프격 희뇨고자 쇼부츠세카이 부푸카게 무묘세츠도 고묘시쇼 헨시쇼곡 뇨세쇼진 이진나료 료가사붓 道場超絶国領内音リム闘争ガトワイミンゴダツウサイジポ大将新熱症状人が国気楽はのん古物神妙税が師匠発がのひ力少々欲地方生存知恵無限浄土子孫知が信行けど心身食毒中画行精進忍術福建ラマナブラマナブラマナブラマナブラマナブラマナブガニシクログ平等聖在東本も大神往生安大公ナマンダウツナマンダウツナマンダウツナマンダウツナマンダウツナマンダウツナマンダウツナマンダウツ Okay, at this time, I'm pleased that we'll be bringing in a few gathas for today's service. So please join me in the song of Asoko no Sono. And please sing loud. And I believe that this particular rendition is from the South America Honganji. So please enjoy this beautiful song.
Yeah.
Please join me in the recitation of the three treasures. Please join me in Gasho. Three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandavats, 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 namandavats. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so at this time, we would like to introduce our new members of the SBWA.
Hello, everyone. I just want to welcome Debbie Nakade, who is a longtime member of the church. She is a busy woman with taiko and doll craft and her own Cortez Hoakai. Very busy. We welcome you, Debbie. And also we want to and we also want to welcome Virginia Uchida, who is actually members of 3 BWAs, including ours, and she is very busy as well. She is actually co-chairing the conference this year in October with Kathy Fujimori, and so she has taken on an extremely busy position, and we welcome both of you.
My apologies to Virginia. For some reason, I cannot spotlight you. I am so sorry.
Oh. But welcome.
Okay, welcome to our new members. I'm so glad that you're able to join us online today. So thank you so much. And of course, as we know, you're both very, very busy in your other organizations. So we very much appreciate you taking time out of your schedules to join us as well. Okay. So we'll continue on. Let me share my screen one more time. Okay, the introduction of our guest speaker. And as I mentioned, it's our pleasure and our honor to have Mrs. Terry Omori with us, our current BCA president. And this has been said many, many times, but it is a wonderful honor to have Terry be the BCA president, in which she is the first female president of our Buddhist Churches of America. And so I just wanted to properly introduce Terry as well. So Terry Omori, she began her Buddhist path from a very young age. Like many of you, Terry grew up in the temple, and her parents were very active members of the Buddhist Temple of San Diego. And so temple was a family lifestyle. And herself and her older brother, they grew up at the temple. And her journey and her activities included the Dharma School, Junior and Senior Young Buddhist Association, taiko, and the temple organist and pianist, and she met her husband Ford at the temple as well. Together, they have been members of the Vista Buddhist Temple for the past 33 years and created their own temple family lifestyle with their 2 children, Katie and Curtis. And many of you might have been attending some of the National Council and other BCA-related webinars, and Vista Buddhist Temple has been very successful in attracting new members, and Terry has been sharing all of her wealth of knowledge in regards to making the temple welcome and what they've been doing at their temple as well. Terry has enjoyed learning together with the youth as a Dharma school teacher, also as a junior YBA advisor and Taiko instructor, providing the young people opportunities as they deepen their understanding of the Dharma in their everyday living. She is also grateful for the enriching leadership experiences encountered at the temple, district, and the BCA levels, and cherishes the wonderful Dharma friends she continues to meet along her path. Terry has served on the BCA National Board since 2014, so she's a veteran, and Executive Committee for the past 4 years. Terry is very humbled to have been given the honor to serve, as I mentioned, as the BCA president, and looks forward to the next 2 years as she continues her journey. So thank you again, Terry, for taking time, I know out of your very busy schedule, to be with us, to be our speaker today. So without further ado, Mrs. Terry Omori.
Thank you very much, Reverend Shibata, for your kind introduction and also invitation. I'm very honored to be with all of you today, and just to have this opportunity to experience your Donna Day service. After Reverend Shibata and Darlene invited me and asked me to speak for today's service, I began to wonder about the history as to why you observe Donna Day, how long you've been observing this special service, and what you do for this special service. And so I asked Darlene, and of course, she found the answers, and she shared that earlier in the opening meditation slides. She had said that this was initiated by a WBWA resolution in 1965. So that was almost 60 years ago. So I do applaud you for continuing this tradition, this special tradition. So today, what I would like to do is just share with you some of my thoughts on Donna, what Donna means to me. We all know, as Reverend Candace said, Donna means selfless giving. It's an important practice for Buddhists and an important practice in our Shin Buddhist tradition. And what I've learned about Dharma what I've learned about Donna from my Dharma teachers is there are 3 types of Donna. First, there's the gift of material goods, to share one's wealth and property for the benefit of the community and those in need. This practice of Dana is probably what we are most familiar with. Giving monetarily to sustain the temple. Many members before us have made contributions so that we can receive the Dharma today in a beautiful temple or church. Donating to a specific cause to assist those in need. BCA has a social welfare fund. Members and supporters make contributions annually, and so together as a Sangha, we're able to make a difference in the lives of many. Recently, BCA did make donations to support Ukrainian relief efforts. $20,000 was donated to UNICEF and $20,000 to Global Giving. BCA also gave towards the Tonga relief efforts in light of the recent volcanic eruption and the tsunami that hit Tonga in January. And there are many, many other organizations who have benefited from this social welfare fund. Another type of dana is the gift of the Dharma. To share one's appreciation of the teachings of the Buddha. Our dedicated ministry shares the Dharma week after week or even day after day. Reverend Shibata, she shares the Dharma with all of you, even during a pandemic. COVID may have closed our temple and churches, but it did not stop us from receiving the Dharma. Reverend Harada, our bishop, His one wish was to have at least one dedicated online minister to outreach and propagate our Jodo Shinshu teachings to those who do not have a temple nearby. And now look what happened. Almost all of our temples are streaming online. There's many seminars and Buddhist education programs online. And so the Dharma is everywhere. And so we have a lot to be thankful for to all those who have made all of this happen in sharing our tradition. We also have our Dharma school teachers who also adapted to online teaching with their students. I know that Darlene Bagshaw and many other Dharma school teachers learned how to connect with their students virtually. And through Dharma school and getting to know Darlene as teachers, we started to share ideas also. And the third Donna is the gift of freedom from fear, giving others comfort and helping to remove fear or pain. To me, Sangha is like a family. It can offer a support system. At the Vista Buddhist Temple, there is a Dharma recovery program. It is a safe space for people dealing with addiction, any type of addiction. It could be alcohol, drugs, smoking, even shopping or eating, they said. Whatever is causing their life misery, people attend, they discuss, they share, they support one another, but it's along with the sharing is the Dharma. A minister sits in on their sessions and the Dharma eases one's pain and helps them cope and helps them live a better life. There are other types of Dharma, Dana, that can be just as important as the three I just mentioned. And what I call it is Dana in action, or DNA. And so I'm going to share my screen to share you some of the some of the Dana in action that I see around my temple or even amongst BCA. So when I hear the word Dana, it reminds me of my Dharma school students. While we were observing Ohigan one year, the class lesson was to discuss the six paramita. And after discussing the meaning of Dana, I asked the students, who were between the ages of 7 to 10 years old, to share how they can practice Dana. And this is what they shared with me, or with what they shared with their fellow students. One said they could look at someone in a nice way to make them feel good. Gentle eyes. Another said, I can smile and make others happy. And another student shared, we should all say nice things, have kind words. And another student shared, to be kind, to show gratitude, to have a kind attitude. Another said, to have a warm heart, just show that you care. And another student said, sharing. We should all just share with one another, share our things that we have. And another student expressed to have good deeds, to help one another at home, to help at temple. So some of the things that the Dharma school students have done during this pandemic is, one, they made thinking of you cards for the members at the temple. They all love to draw. They all love to do artwork, and so we passed out just cards, blank cards to all the kids, and then they returned them back with pictures, and then the teacher sent them out to the sangha. So other ways the children like to help out at temple, of course, we have Hanamatsuri coming up. For the past 2 years, we were not able to have an in-person Hanamatsuri service, but they usually enjoy meeting at the temple and decorating the Hanamiro. Last year for Hanamatsuri service, they actually made a picture story board about the birth of the Buddha. But I'm happy to say that next Sunday, the Vista Temple is going to meet in person. They're going to have a hybrid service, and it'll be the Hanamatsuri service, and the students are looking forward to coming out to decorate the Hanamiro again, and of course with safe protocols in place. So I always learn from my Sangha members, but I also always learn from the youth. They always amaze me. And in fact, their words resonate with me. Their words resonated with me after an experience I had during my first visit to the Jodo Shinshu Center in Berkeley for a BCA meeting. I flew into the Oakland airport and took a shuttle bus to the BART station. It dropped me off at the Coliseum station. I watched the other people who were also on the shuttle purchase their ticket from the vending machine, and so I went up to do the same. I put money in. I pressed the button for the station that I was headed to. And while I was doing this, I was also watching my surroundings. And then all of a sudden, right in front of me, I was startled by a cup with a few coins being shaken. Standing right next to me was this elderly homeless man. I just asked him to back away, just take a couple steps back. And when I got my change, I told him I would give it to him. So he did back away. And when I got my change from the machine and my ticket, I put some coins in his cup. And what surprised me, he didn't utter a word. He grunted a little bit, but he didn't say a word to me. But after I put some coins in his cup, he bowed to say thank you. I said, "You're welcome," and quickly headed for the platform. So it took me off guard. I was startled. I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't even realize what I was doing. And all this just took place in a matter of a couple minutes. So I don't know why I reacted the way I did, but I began to think about my actions on my train ride to Berkeley. I know that my reaction was not out of Donna. Probably was out of survivor. I went into survival mode or protection mode. But what I began to reflect on was during my ride was, does anyone ever say hello to this man, or is he ignored? Does he receive a smile or a kind gesture? Or is he just invisible to the people that pass him by? He did express gratitude to me with a bow, so he does feel appreciation. My Dharma school students sharing helped me reflect on what I had just experienced. When I hear the word Dharma, Donna, it also reminds me of my Vista Buddhist Temple BWA members, and actually all BWA members. No matter which BCA church or temple you go to, the BWA members are hardworking and dedicated. They are constantly helping the temple with no hesitation. They are supportive. They are concerned. They have a generous heart. It has been said often that the BWA is the backbone of the temple. Their efforts and leadership helps the church or their temple exist. And I continually witness Donna in action, in awe, and with deep gratitude. I feel very fortunate that I was able to learn from the Issei and Nisei women, my grandmother's and mother's generation. They, along with their spouses, made many sacrifices to ensure that the Dharma would be here for me, my children, and future generations. Their constant Donna in action has taught me the importance of continuing their legacy, to recognize the opportunities to practice Donna together with my temple family with a I get to attitude, not I have to do this now attitude. To have a happy Sangha, learning the Dharma together and sharing our rich Shin Buddhist tradition with others. As new members join the temple, it is difficult to explain what Donna means, to understand the true essence. However, I believe that they begin to understand as they witness the temple elders in action. They live the Dharma, and their selfless giving is evident in so many ways. And these are just some of the members at the Vista Buddhist Temple, or some members who used to be with us. But together as a family, and I'm sure it's like this also at Stockton, at your temple, that together we learn from one another, and we work together for the benefit of our temple. I'm sure all of you have practiced Donna. Think about it. What did you do recently? Why did you do it? Did it affect others? How did it affect others? Many times practicing Donna comes from gratitude, from deep appreciation, and it develops into a generous heart. For the receiver of your Donna, they develop gratitude, which then can lead to a generous heart. It becomes contagious. But more importantly, this leads to interconnectedness, leading to a life of gratitude. So today I want to thank all of you because you have shared with me an awareness of a very important Buddhist practice, Donna. I thank you for all that you do, for the Buddhist Church of Stockton, for the BCA, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity to be a part of your Donna Day service. And what I would like to do now is to close with the recitation of our pledge. And I'll put it up on the screen. Our pledge by our Monshu Kojun Otani. Let me turn it into a slideshow. Okay. So if you'd like, you can recite with me. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanats, namanats, namanats. So again, thank you for having me today. I hope one day soon I'll be able to come and visit your temple or your church and meet all of you in person. So thank you, Reverend Chibata.
Thank you so much, Terry, for your very relatable and your very honest message for us. I think many of us need that gentle reminder that everybody around us, that we're all human beings and we just have different circumstances that we're living in or suffering from, but we're all human and we all deserve any form of Donna. Whether it's a gentle smile or kind eyes, whatever we can do. So thank you so much. And of course, I want to thank you in advance for your continued years serving as our BCA president. And I think many of us have a lot of hope and a lot of excitement of what's to come for BCA in the future. So thank you so much again for taking time out of your schedule to join us. Thank you. Okay, so I'll continue sharing my screen at this time. And we do have another Gatha, and please join me. And I apologize that probably both Gathas are a little bit hard to read, but many of you might know Ondoksan in Gratitude, written by Shinran Shonin. So please let's sing Ondoksan number 2 together. Namandavats, 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 namandavats. Okay. So I have one last recitation for us to do together. Please place your palms together in Gasho for the Jodo Shinshu Creed number 2. I affirm my faith in Amida's infinite wisdom and compassion. Reciting the sacred name, I shall live with strength and joy. I shall look to Amida's guiding light. As I reflect upon my imperfect self, I live with gratitude for the perfect compassion which surrounds me at all times. I shall follow Amida's teachings. I shall understand the right path and resolve to spread the true teachings. I rejoice in Amida's wisdom and compassion. I shall respect and help my fellow beings and work for the good of my community. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandavats, 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 namandavats. Okay, do we have any announcements? Any general announcements? I don't know if Sachi or Darlene has any announcements for the group? No?
Well, has everyone heard about the upcoming webinar that's a joint effort between the BCA Social Welfare and Hawaii Honganji Mission of Hawaii's Committee on Social Concerns? Now that's a mouthful. So let me share my screen. I think I still have it up here. It is about our interdependent lives, food waste, and sustainability. We, on average, throw away about 20% of the food we purchase. And I would almost bet most of us stick it straight in the garbage can. So this is way to help you and your temples help reduce food waste, we will have Mindy Jaffe. She actually has a worm composting business in Hawaii. And she has helped some of the island schools decrease their garbage, basically, by showing the kids how to compost. So she'll be very interesting. And Ron Hamakawa from Seattle Betsuin, they actually worked with this Seattle, I don't know what you call it, sanitation company, to decrease the amount of waste that they had at their Obon Bazaar. And it's also something to think about, not only just the food being wasted, but also the containers, the cups, the clamshells and such. How can we do a better job at making it something that will not impact our environment for years to come? So this was distributed through our Karma, our monthly newsletter. If you do need it, please let us know. Contact the temple office and they can forward it to you, because I did see some people join from other temples. So this is free. There is no charge on this one. And we do encourage you to attend and try to learn something new about saving our environment for our kids, our great grandkids, and our great grandkids. So that we haven't met yet, but hey, let's leave them a good environment. So thank you.
And I just want to thank everybody for contributing to the homeless shelter and the children's home. And I'll get that together. I'll wrap that up probably the end of May. So in case we do our rummage sale in December, we'll be able to collect after that for that. And then I want to thank everybody for donating and working hard to get the home and hospital event going for next week. 2 weeks from now, and working so hard and donating your time and effort to making it successful for the church. Thank you so much.
And Terry, just so that you kind of benefit from what we're talking about, Sachi has been integral in getting together collections for the children's homeless shelter in Stockton, as well as the adult homeless shelter. And she's collected clothing, what do you call those? Shampoos, things like that for the homeless shelters, as well as funds, and has applied and received matching grants for both facilities. So from our SBW, our social welfare committee. So she's done a great job with that. And then our home and hospital visitation for those that are 90 and over, or are residing in a facility of some sort, or are home due to recovering from an illness. It started out as just a SBWA made sushi container like you would buy at the bazaar, and a cup of cookies from the YBA. This is what it was once upon a time, and that was delivered to them. It has now morphed into an entire grocery bag, a big bag of non-perishable items, fresh fruit, along with the sushi and manju. So it's really come a long ways. And 3 of the SBWA ladies coordinate that: Sachi, Ruby Kato, and Dolores Matsumura. So just so you understand what we're all announcing here.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you all for all that you do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Darlene, for that additional information again about what we can do. A lot of these probably tips from this webinar, something that we could take back to our bazaar meetings as well, so that we too can do a better job in regards to using compostable products, so that we're not continuing to contribute to the landfills. I also wanted to mention and thank everybody for joining us, but also wanted to thank again Terry Omori for taking time out of her busy schedule. And I did see Peggy Okabayashi joining us today as our FBWA president as well. So thank you, Peggy, for taking time, I know, out of your busy schedule to join us as well. But I'm so happy to see all of you today. Many of you had your cameras on, so it's nice to see your beautiful faces. And thank you so much for joining. Of course, and I failed to mention this early in today's service for the Sunday Dharma service, but thank you so much to the BWA, Stockton BWA, for the flowers for the altar. Thank you so much, Tad Shibata, for assisting me with the flowers. Of course, I can't forget to thank our wonderful volunteers who continue to clean the altar and keep it beautiful, and also those individuals who do all of the maintenance of the yard and grounds as well, too. Okay, thank you, Darlene, of course, for your beautiful slideshows. And again, welcome to our newest members of the Stockton BWA. So we can go ahead and conclude today's service. Please stay safe and well, and thanks so much for joining us. Please join me in Gasho for one last opportunity to say the name of the Buddha together. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Okay. Thank you so much.